College football apostles. We got to talk about the college football playoff rankings, and we have to discuss exactly what is going on this week in college football because I believe chaos is on the way. And I'm George Wrighster, former NFL player, college football analyst over at the CW. So you'll be able to see me this weekend on Saturday as well. And Ralph Amsden, resident savant, resident rain man of college football and knowledge of things that you would not know. So we got a lot to talk about. We're going to cover the games. We got, college football playoff. You guys make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show, and most importantly, share. All right. So, Ralph, the college football playoff rankings came out last night. And I'm going to put them up on the screen. But was there anything out of the rankings that surprised you?
You know these rankings mean absolutely nothing to me, and I don't care about them at all, and I hate every conversation about them. And so I
I
appreciate
don't
you.
understand why. I bet you cared about them last year when Arizona State.
No, I don't understand why everybody's so mad about it. There's more stuff that has to happen. I cannot imagine. And I saw like Ari Wasserman said that what's happening with Miami right now is the biggest injustice in the history of the CFP rankings.
Oh my God.
The word injustice is pretty heavy, Ari. Like injustice. Well, I here's what I don't understand, George. I don't understand having a single conversation about University of Miami until after they play Pitt. After they play Pitt, if somebody does something wrong by University of Miami, if they go and they win that game in Pittsburgh in
What if
November,
they lose that game?
then what was the point of everybody's gnashing of teeth and weeping? What was the point? This is why I don't want to talk about it. If Miami loses, what was the point? If Ole Miss loses the Egg Bowl, what is the point of any of this? What is the point of any of this? And so it's just people are reacting like a great societal injustice takes place every single time these rankings drop. And number one, all they're doing is sorting the teams by win-loss record. That's it.
Okay.
That's the whole that's it. So like we can't be surprised because they've done that every week. And number two, how can you waste breath on Miami? How?
I have tried to explain this to somebody the people who are upset about Notre Dame and Miami. So here is the best that I can do for you. When you go back to week 8 in college football, Miami is ranked number 2 in the country. Okay. Notre Dame is ranked number 13. Notre Dame is 4-2. They're number 13 in the country. Okay. Miami then proceeds to lose to Louisville and falls to number 9. And Notre Dame is at number 12. Okay? Because somebody said to me yesterday, George, there is no way that you could have ever put at any point in time put Miami behind Notre Dame. And I was like, let me explain this to you. So here's the explanation. Miami falls to number 9, okay? In week 9 of the playoff. Week 9. So then you're like, okay, cool. They're still in front of Miami. Everything's fine. Week 10 happens. Miami wins again, but they drop a spot because BYU went in front of them. And they were still in front of Notre Dame at number 12. Okay? Then they proceed to lose to SMU in and then the week 11 rankings put them at number 18 and Notre Dame at 10. So I'm like, what was the ranking supposed to do, Ralph? Were they supposed to drop Notre Dame down behind Texas, who had just lost again, Oklahoma, Utah with 2? Like, were they supposed to drop them behind teams that they didn't think were good because Miami's trending in the wrong direction?
I don't know.
when Miami wins a couple games, should then Miami jump up at that point in time in front of Georgia Tech, Louisville, who had just beat them, Utah, Oklahoma, and Texas? Should they have jumped in front of them? I don't understand what people think. Yes, it is. It's two losses or two losses, but Notre Dame's two losses are to Miami and Texas A&M by a total of 4 points. Miami's losses were to, because you have all these people. It shouldn't matter who you lost to. It matters who you beat. Both of them matter. And guess what? Unfortunately, it matters when you do it because you're supposed to be picking the 12 best teams at that moment. And if Miami's trending in the wrong direction, even though they beat a team who's now trending in a different direction, what are we supposed to do? This is a nonsensical conversation to me, Ralph. And then you got, after that, then you got Ole Miss people upset. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe Oregon jumped them. In the last 2 weeks, Ole Miss has played a bye and the Citadel, and their head coach is in flux. Oregon looks really good right now and just beat the 15th ranked team in the country in USC, who only fell to 17. So, yes, you're going to jump in front of teams when you play ranked teams. Isn't this what the SEC tells us?
Also, if you're 5 through 8, who cares? Who cares? If you're 5 through 8, you get to host a game, right?
Okay.
So who cares? You have to, it's a tournament. You have to beat everyone.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm 1 or 12. If we're the best team, we're going to find out.
Well, I believe that this year that the styles make fights is more evident than it ever has been.
But at the end of the year, the best team will be the champion.
Yes. Yes, because you would have survived the entire gauntlet. So,
None of this just doesn't, it just doesn't matter. It does not matter at all until we see the full zeros on the clock of Miami
are you
at
sure
Pitt.
about that?
Then
Are you sure about that?
do you are you one of the people that thinks like it matters because bullying works?
Yes. Bullying does work. That's why the committee is
Okay.
going to hear this Notre Dame noise enough, and they're either going to dig their heels in or they're going to be like, they might be right. Soon as they get close, we'll flip them. Or here is the option, okay? Here is the other option that I will present to you. Arizona and Arizona State are both ranked. This is a big Territorial Cup, buddy. When was the last time that both teams were ranked in the Territorial Cup? And one of them could end up with a New Year's Six bowl. So you don't think this matters,
Are
Ralph?
you saying the college football playoff rankings factor into who gets New Year's Six bowls?
Yeah, on some level, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It like what do you think they take two Big 12 teams? Because the only way that works is if they take, and we're
Only
fourth
if Notre
on that
Dame,
list
like
right
it,
now.
yeah, there's different tie-ins with the bowls, and if it's the conference champion versus not, and all of this stuff. And if Notre Dame goes to the college football playoff, that opens up another spot for people. So yeah, you
I
could
guess
get.
I have two things to say. I don't feel like I'm adding anything to this conversation because out of principle I hate it. But I have two things to say. I do not have a retort for the argument that bullying works because I've probably, like anybody else, based most of my life and how I live off of sticking it to anybody who's ever bullied me. And and like the second thing is it's so far it's so far outside of my control because the conferences got too big. The discussion I would love for people to be having right now is how disgusting and complicated every single conference's championship game scenarios are. with only 1 week left to go. Like, Indiana might not make the Big Ten championship.
How do you figure that?
If they lose to there's like 2 things that need to happen,
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, they're not going to lose
That's
to
it.
Purdue, so you don't have to worry about that one.
No, they're probably not, but the idea that the number 2 team in the country right now might not make their conference championship game is psychotic. Like, but both the number 1 and number 2 team in the country could both miss. They could both miss the
That is
conference championship game.
hey, but the thing is, would they really be the number 1 and number 2 team in the country if Indiana lost to Purdue and Ohio State lost to Michigan? Because
No,
exactly,
no.
see? Exactly.
But the idea that we're 1 week out and like Arizona State could make the Big 12 championship through a series of convoluted scenarios that don't have anything to do with head to head.
Yep.
The SEC's I George, I read the SEC championship game scenarios. I don't understand them at all. Not at all. And more than that, Miami's currently 5th in the ACC, and there are something like 13 different ways they can make the ACC championship.
Yeah,
Like
but they're all
13
difficult. They're
combinations.
all like they
Yes.
need they need everything to come up right for them. And honestly, I prefer that. And you know why I prefer it? Because then everybody can stop crying about the Notre Dame game. Because if Miami goes to the championship and then loses, I don't know what to tell you, fam. You try again next year. Um,
This is what's going to happen. What I'm frustrated with is I like the conference championship games. The conferences are so big and head to heads aren't factoring in as much anymore. And like last year's Big 12 had 4, 7, and 2 teams, and it was kind of convoluted as to how you ended up with Iowa State and Arizona State. What this is going to do is it's just going to give more reason to eliminate conference championships,
oh no,
and
we love
I don't
them,
like
Ralph.
that.
I love it because it makes more games matter. So there are 4 big teams still alive: Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan, and Oregon. Now, mind
Mm,
you, Indiana did not play Ohio State. Oregon did not play Michigan, and Oregon did not play Ohio State. So here's the way, but Indiana beat Oregon. So the Big Ten in particular, if Indiana can we just assume that Indiana beats Purdue?
we can assume it, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, but I feel safe assuming that, right? I mean,
I
we'll deal with chaos if
yeah,
we end up in chaos.
I'm old enough to remember like an 11-0 West Virginia with Pat White and everything falling apart right at the end. So I don't know. It's obviously not going to kick them out of the college football playoff, but it's anything can happen. I guess.
Yep. Okay. So yeah. So if Ohio State beats if Michigan beats Ohio State and Oregon beats Washington, Oregon goes to go play Indiana in the Big Ten championship.
Do you want an extra game? Oregon guy,
You got to play an
rest
extra
versus
game
rest.
regardless. That's the thing about it. You either play your conference championship game and win it, and then you get a bye, but you played an extra game, or you go to the conference game and lose, and then you're away. I mean, and then you have a playoff first round game. So now you've played like 2 extra games. Or if you just don't make the conference championship, then you got to play a first round game and then you play 1 extra game. So either way, you got to play at least 1 extra game, but you could have 2.
Right. So I'm saying if you don't make the conference championship, then there is no 2 extra games. But if you make the conference championship and win it, you probably get a bye, which relieves it. So what would you be fine with not even because it's out of your control? You can beat Washington and it could not matter, right? So if it's completely out of your control, as long as you beat Washington, do you want to have to play in the conference championship knowing that that could cost you health? It's a risk.
I I thought about this and I debated on it for days and then I was like, I don't care. I don't. If he dies, he dies. Like I guess one of them. I'm not getting ready to like. because I despise when people try to manufacture like their path. I think that if the things align for you, they will align for you. So I'm just going to accept whatever comes and it'll be okay.
I just want to point out that in the last 20 seconds, you have articulated my argument about why I don't care about the college football playoff debates better than I did.
How? How?
Because I don't care about people trying to manifest their path. Whatever happens, happens. I don't want to have this
Well,
conversation
no,
until
no, no.
after
See,
Miami
they're
plays
just
Pitt.
trying to manufacture themselves in. I'm not trying to manufacture ducks in. I'm just trying to, you know, live with whatever the result is.
Think about moms. Think about moms who's like the dad is supposed to pick him up every other weekend for his
Uh huh.
time, right? But he doesn't show. He doesn't show. And every single week, the kid, elasticity of memory is like, man, when dad picks me up this week, I hope we go get ice cream. I hope we do this. I hope we do that. And the mom is just like, if he
Oh my.
shows, like temper expectations, trying not to have you get let down. And that's my message. That's my message to Miami fans right now is dad might not show up. So let's not worry about where you're ranked right now because you got beat Pitt first.
Bro, that's nasty work. That is nasty work. All right. Um Jesus Christ. All right. All right. Here is the bracket, right? Currently.
Okay.
Obviously, this is nowhere near what the bracket is going to end up because Miami could end up being a placeholder. Obviously, Ohio State and Indiana are probably going to have to play each other. We don't know the Michigan result. We, you
Texas
know,
might ruin this whole thing.
you know what? Forget the bracket. Forget the bracket. It doesn't even. The bracket doesn't matter at this point in time. That's the one thing I will agree with. When we get to talking about the bracket, and I do it too, but it's not going to be in. Even if the teams are the same, they're not going to be in the same order. So
And
it's okay.
I'll talk about anything college football at any time. I'll drop everything I'm doing to talk college football. This is super uninteresting. I just want to get through the final week. And I get like they're trying to drum up conversation, but like all of the conversation is super toxic and weird. And we're talking about betrayal and injustice.
All
I don't think
right.
those words you think they mean.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's get to talking about these games, right? So, this is the game that I believe has the biggest impact on the college football playoff and how people think about it at all. I did not give you the order. So, boom,
Okay.
there it is. Alabama Auburn. I believe that this game is going to have the biggest impact because, Ralph, because in this game, you have Alabama, who's less than a touchdown favorite. So you know that the odds makers are expecting it to be close. This game is in Jordan Hare, Wall Eagle. They have changed quarterbacks to Deuce Knight. So that's a wild card. We don't know what the hell is happening. And I, in my bold predictions before the season, do you remember what my bold prediction about Alabama was?
They're going to miss the college football playoff.
So I stand on business. Auburn wins this football game, Ralph. Auburn wins this football game, breaks the heart of the Crimson Tide, and then Kalen DeBoer bolts to Penn State.
Oh my god. That's a lot of that's a lot of
I'm
big
not
prediction.
guaranteeing the second part because he might bolt even if they win. Well, actually, he won't bolt if they win because then they got to go to the college football playoff. But if they lose, I think he might be out because he's gonna be like, "Yo, these people are psycho down here. This is ridiculous. That my family's not safe. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to somewhere where football matters and the people are sane."
Besides just manifesting your early season prediction, what do you believe to be true about Auburn having a shot in this game.
Alabama can't run the football. They've run for like 1,100 yards on the entire season. Auburn, they are not great against the pass. However, Auburn is really good against the run. So if they can stop the run with a lighter box and focus on the pass game, this is very, very, very similar to the Oklahoma game, except I believe that Deuce Knight provides such a wild card in this football game because he is so dynamic with his legs. And if he just has the game of his life, like because he's too stupid and young to like, and I don't mean stupid in a bad way. I'm saying like he's so inexperienced that like,
Inexperience, yeah.
yeah, that you don't even know to feel the pressure. So this is why I'm picking Auburn in this game.
Okay, so you said the Oklahoma game. What Oklahoma game?
Oklahoma, Alabama.
Which one?
Oh no! Oh my God! That was last year. Jesus Christ!
No.
Wait,
They
no.
lost
Yeah, it was 2
both
weeks ago.
times.
Yeah,
They lost both times, but do you remember what happened in last year's Oklahoma Alabama game?
yeah. Oklahoma beat the hell out of them, uh, and Jackson Arnold ran for like 1,000 yards.
And in the event that Deuce Knight isn't working out, who is there waiting
Jackson
for Auburn?
Arnold. Yeah,
I do think that that's kind of an interesting like through line, that the biggest beating that Kalen DeBoer has taken in his time, it also included the offense not showing up.
yeah.
And Ty Simpson, I don't know if I've ever changed my mind more on somebody during the course of the season than Ty Simpson. I still think he's going to be a unique NFL talent, and he could easily go out at the end of this year. But he, now that we have the 10,000-foot view on the full season, he hadn't really beat anybody, George.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
It's and he hadn't been playing all that great lately. Missouri's the only top 25 passing defense he's played against, and outside of them, Florida State is the highest ranked passing defense Ty Simpson's played against, and they're 33rd. So maybe, I mean, it
Yeah.
absolutely could work out in Auburn's favor. Where I don't love it is that DJ Durkin has called 4 different SEC team defenses against Alabama in his career. He has worked for 4 different SEC teams where he's been the primary defensive play caller, and he is 0-4 against
Well,
Alabama. In one of those games, they gave up like 60. So
well, well,
he's who I worry about.
well. You shouldn't because Nick Saban's not walking through that door. Uh, the next most impactful game when it comes to the college football playoff, and this would provide. Oh my God, Notre Dame and Miami fans will be sick if this happens. Sick. If Michigan beats Ohio State, Lord have mercy on their souls, Ralph. If this happens, they are going to throw up in their mouth.
Do you think they can?
What do you mean? Do I think that they can't? They have 4 years in a row, Ralph, and Michigan's actually better this year than they were last year in that improbable win.
Mm, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I just sometimes I forget this game doesn't make sense. Um, but I just don't. I don't know. They don't have like a big game breaker on offense, so it's going to have to be a rock fight, as you love to use that term. Ohio State doesn't really let you do anything. Their defense right now, would be the number 1 total yardage defense every single season going back 15 years. And
But
they don't create turnovers. They don't do anything other than say no and shut you down. That's it.
and
And
that is a little bit concerning because they haven't played a tough opponent yet. Well, their their schedule. I mean, well, I guess you would say Washington, but outside of Washington, can you really point to anybody that because Texas has taken multiple tumbles? Who would
The
you
one
look
thing,
at their schedule? Because Penn State was still reeling at that point in time. They hadn't the dust hadn't even settled, and then they played so they got Wisconsin when everybody was thinking that Luke Fickell was going to get fired and their quarterback situation was a mess. Penn State was still in shambles and reeling from getting destroyed and gutted. And then you got Purdue, who's on the rise, but they're better, but they're still bad. UCLA,
yeah,
who's kind of given up on the season, and didn't have Nico. Rutgers, I'm not sure that you can point to anything on their schedule that you're like, oh, they're tested, because somebody is going to be able to put up some resistance. But what happens when they get that resistance is my biggest question.
yeah. I'll give Michigan this. I think they're better in a phone booth than Washington was. Washington actually moved the ball pretty well, especially considering everybody else's experience against Ohio State. But once they got within 30 yards of the end zone, it gets really ugly. I think this is a special Ohio State defense. And I guess if they can't score points and it comes down to a kicker, maybe that's the difference. Dominic Zavada was the leading scorer in last year's game, but he's not been good this year. He's 21 and 22 last year. This year, I think he's hitting 50% in his last 5 or 6 games. So,
Yeah.
Even when the one guy that you depended on last year also isn't showing up, it just makes me super nervous. Bryce Underwood is young. They don't really have like a dynamic offensive guy, but I guess you just need one or two plays here and there. It probably just comes down to defense, what Michigan is
So
able to do defensively, and they're decent. Um, they're decent. They're 15th in points allowed and 12th in rush yards allowed. So this is it, George. You wanted Julian Sayin to have his Heisman moment. If they win, this could be it.
Um, Ohio State's a 10-point favorite. Bryce Underwood has some turnover problems, and he's going to have to throw the ball well in this game. I got Ohio State by 2 touchdowns. Who you got?
After all that you said, Ohio State's going to cover. I'll
Yeah.
take Ohio State, but I don't think they cover.
Wow. Wow. I think that they're going to tear the cover off their ass. The next game up. Now, a lot of people are counting this team out, Ralph. I myself am not counting these boys out just because of last year's game and I believe that this could mess up the college football talking points as well. Georgia Tech game is in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Everything about this game, Ralph, says that Georgia should absolutely win this football game, right?
Yeah, Georgia Tech stinks outside of one player.
Georgia Tech is a 13 and a half point favorite in this game. I'm sorry,
Other way. Yeah.
Georgia is. You might cut Brent Key open and see what colors he bleeds, and it might be Georgia Tech colors, but that doesn't mean I am less convinced that he will be wearing this logo next year.
Oh.
Less convinced. Only because he hasn't signed an extension yet. But I think
Mm-hmm.
that Clark Lee but here's the other part. I do believe that Brent Key at Georgia Tech and Clark Lee at Vanderbilt are waiting on everybody else to get their deals to figure their deal out. So I think that they've probably assured their people like, yo, I'm not leaving, but but we need to do this deal right after everybody else gets their deals done, and they like got a handshake, wink, wink, nod, nod deal.
The only way I would want to see Brent Key leave Georgia Tech is if he gets a wild hair
In
for
a
that
pine
Tennessee.
box.
No, no, not in a pine box. That Titans job is just
Ooh.
we've seen how like some of these like former offensive linemen, inspirational, hard on your sleeve leaders, have done at the NFL level, and he's a good leader of men. Maybe he'll drag Haynes King up with him to Nashville, and they
So
can
who do
use
you
him like Taysom Hill.
exactly?
Um, I, I just Georgia Tech has not been good anywhere except for
And their
with Haynes
defense is
King.
getting
So
scorched.
yeah, yeah. I can imagine Georgia fans would be horrified. Is there is there a, si- is there a situation where Georgia ends up 3 losses and out of the college football playoff?
No, I think that if they end up in the SEC championship, that the two teams in the one of the teams in the SEC championship last year didn't get in Texas A&M. So, but that was their fourth loss. So I think both
And
SEC.
yeah, a loss to Georgia Tech would end up being a good loss, and then they would get to go to the ACC championship, right? Maybe it's so convoluted. I
Yeah,
think it's going to be like give me 42-21 Georgia.
yeah. I believe that we're headed for chaos this weekend, and this is a potential chaos game. Even though I don't see it happening, I just want everybody to acknowledge and see chaos is possible. It is definitely possible. Um, all right, let's get to the next game. All right, I am. There's an entire breakdown, just like of the Iron Bowl. There's an entire breakdown of this game. Oregon versus Washington. Oregon is a 6.5 point favorite, Ralph. On my I have given my entire opinion about this on a video. So with that, I'll say Ducks -6, Ducks by a million. No, 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 no.
Washington.
On a serious note, more than 2 touchdowns.
Okay. Um, Washington is so good at home. And I think this will be closer than the USC Oregon game. And you and I haven't had an opportunity to talk about that game, but I actually walked away. I respect USC. I thought it was a good effort. They got beat by a better team, but I actually thought they did some things in that game that I was like, oh, maybe they're on the right track. But I think that Washington will be closer in the fourth quarter than you're
Mm.
comfortable with them being. I think it's a 10-point Oregon win, but I think it's within one score in the fourth.
Ooh, okay. No Jacob Manu for them. Their linebacker. They're not going. Jonah Coleman is kind of. He had a a lunchbox size um, knee brace on in the UCLA game. Denzel Boston has been beat up a little bit. Hmm. So
The thing I'm
so
excited about in this game is because what Cooper Perry might play, right? So
no, he's been
Cooper
playing
Perry,
every week, bro.
but he's like possibly like expanded role because of some injury issues. I heard.
Yeah,
Is that
yes,
is that true? Like maybe some more snaps than usual. Uh, I've been covering Cooper Perry and Des Roebuck since they were like 15, and they're
yeah.
about to share a field together. And I don't think they ever really got to play against each other at the high school level. So that's the thing I'm really excited for in this game. I hope everybody has fun. Oregon's safe regardless, right? They're going on college football player regardless at this point.
I think so. I think so. I think so. I'd hope so. But let's not have to know.
That's just nice to know that you got a nice cold glass of copium in the refrigerator waiting for you, just in case.
um.
I don't have that.
Yeah.
If Arizona State loses this weekend, I'm gonna cry in the car.
All right. All right. The next game that we have to talk about. This one is. I believe that this is chaos incoming, Ralph. Chaos incoming because this is what he deserves because he's a chaos maker. that is Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss and Mississippi State. He's a chaos maker. He has made every bit of chaos that is surrounding this team right now. It's of his doing. So I am not going to feel sorry for him or anybody else at all.
I don't know. I like Jeff Lebby. I like Blake Shapen. I would like to see Mississippi State win this game and go to a bowl. They're hosting. Yeah, why not? Why not? I actually don't think Ole Miss is that good. I think their quarterback is electric and has not received the Heisman hype he deserves. Other than that, I think that I think last year's team would curb stomp this year's
I
Ole
do
Miss team.
too. Ralph, I do too. This Ole Miss defense is not great. They've been walking through the
No.
raindrops. They got the one win over Oklahoma while John Mateer hasn't been playing well. But outside of that, what do they have? They got Georgia State, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tulane, a a a, just a I don't even know how you would describe LSU. They've just fallen apart. They almost lost to Washington State, only a 3-point win. They lost to Georgia, then they beat Oklahoma, and then South Carolina, Citadel, and Florida. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
They
And they don't
unless Oregon
they
loses, they're not getting back in front of them.
you don't often have a team that's ranked in the top 10 at the end of the season that defensively isn't touching any of those categories. They're 54th against the run. They're 29th in total points. They're pretty decent against the pass, and they get out in front of teams, and that's kind of been their saving grace. But yeah, I mean, it's risky. It's risky. If Ole Miss wins, nobody's going to be surprised at all. But if Ole Miss loses, there also aren't going to be a lot of
Be
people who are
surprised.
surprised.
No, because Lane Kiffin can come out here and talk all the bullshit that he wants about, oh, this is a new era in college football. These kids don't care. We literally see it every time that when coaches' situation starts to get funny, teams start playing weird. So we'll see if they start
Yeah,
playing weird.
because your players are thinking about where they're going to play football next year.
Yes.
That's the effect that it has. Like, am I going to be here next year or not? Would not be creeping into his players' minds. The quarterback wouldn't have to go out and post on social media that, like, hey, we just control what we can control. At this point, it feels like if you don't know, then that should be your answer. Like, what do you mean? I got all the money in the world being thrown at me and I don't know if I should leave? Well, then you know. What do you mean you don't know? If
I
you
don't
don't
know
know,
what
then
I
you
should
know.
do. Then stay your ass put, man.
Like this is like, yeah, you got a girl at home and she cooks and she takes care of you when you're sick and she helps with everything and you guys got a great relationship and a girl walks up to you at the club and asks if you want to go home with her. The second that you're like, well, I don't know, then you know.
Yes.
The fact that he's drug out this long, I think he just means he wants people talking about him, and we are, but it's
See,
not necessarily going
I
to be in a good
believe that
way.
this dude. I told you what I believe. I think that he's trying to get Ole Miss people so fed, like whether it's conscious or subconscious. He's trying to get Ole Miss people so fed up with him that they're just like, dude, just freaking leave. Just
For
go.
for permission, I'll make you hate me so that I feel less guilty. Yeah, I guess. It's weird, man. He's got a really good thing going, and he's gonna step into a situation if he leaves where there is no grace
Ho-
at
And
all.
Ralph, can you please explain to me? And I don't want this to sound any way like I'm disparaging Lane Kiffin. I believe he's a good football coach.
Great
I don't
football coach.
understand why we're fighting. We as in these schools. Why Florida, Ole Miss. I mean, I understand why Ole Miss is, but LSU. Like, why are we fighting this desperately over a dude who's made one conference championship, and that's when he was at FAU. He's a journeyman. He has burned everything down where he's been all the time. Like, he's created chaos everywhere. Like, why are we chasing him down for that? I
Scarcity.
understand why people want him. Like, but the level of desperation feels desperate.
The desperation feels desperate. It's scarcity. It's scarcity. I didn't really care about having hand sanitizer in my house till some dude was buying it up and storing it in his garage. That's all it is. Like, what else is available outside of this? We made the decision to fire our coach. We better go and get the hottest name. If you look at the hires that are happening right now across college football, it's nobody whose name you didn't hear. These people are not creative, and so I don't know, man. He's just going to walk into a situation where anytime anybody tells him what's right or what's wrong, he's going to look at his bank account and he's going to dismiss them, and he's going to fall off in the way that Brian Kelly did, because you have a level of security, forever security, that where you're not motivated to necessarily do the best job anymore. You will have fu money, and you are a man who is prone to saying fu.
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to give yourself an excuse to be less than your best by leaving.
Mm, mm, yeah.
Did you see the Brett McMurphy thing where he asked everybody, and is a lot of yellow and purple?
Yes, a lot of people, and then one Titans answer about where Lane Kiffin was going. Yeah,
That's
I
Tom
think that.
Fornelli, and you need to have him on this show.
Yeah,
He's funny.
yeah. He punted on the situation. All right. Next thing up. This is an interesting game because people are going to be punting. I mean, people are trying. Dude, why do people want Texas in the college football playoff so badly? This is the part
Uh,
that is so confusing for me because they're like, oh, if they beat Texas A&M, they got to be in. They got to jump Vanderbilt. They got to, even if Vanderbilt beats Tennessee, they got to jump everybody to get in. And I'm like, because they beat a team who's beaten nobody in the SEC? Texas A&M, for all of this caping that everybody's doing, Texas A&M, think about this. They have not beat a team in the top 7 or 8 in the SEC. They've beaten UTSA, Utah State. The Notre Dame win's a good win, but since Notre Dame's schedule is so weak, even though that they played 4 currently ranked teams, that's a whole nother story. That Auburn, oh, so excuse me, but then that SEC gauntlet: Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Samford. Oh, Ralph. They've only played one team that's currently ranked, and that's Notre Dame.
I have a couple
Make it
of.
make
I got a
sense.
couple. I've got a couple of stats for you, George.
Oh, hold on, hold on,
Um,
hold on. First. Who are you taking? Ole Miss is favored by 7.5 points in that Mississippi State game. Who are you taking? I'm taking Mississippi State plus 7.5. I'm not sure if they're going to win, but they'll scare
Ring the bells. I'm all in on the Bulldogs
them. Ooh,
to cover, to
love it.
win all of it.
I love. Oh God, that would be. Oh God, wouldn't that be great? Texas A&M is only favored by 2.5 points in this game. There, let's go with your stats.
116th in total turnovers for Texas A&M. They're not a defense that goes and gets the ball back.
Yeah,
Here is the neighborhood they're in. I'm not going to give you the number, but I am going to give you the neighborhood. in yards per play. Texas A&M is right next to North Carolina, Florida State, LSU, Old Dominion, and Pitt as far as yards per play given up.
Okay.
Where do you think that puts them? Like what range? Some okay defenses there.
Okay. 55.
25. It's actually 25.
Oh, that's
Because
not bad.
North Carolina, it's the one thing they've done right. But what about your rush defense? Because I think that's probably an indicator of whether or not you're a dominant team. Do you think Texas A&M is inside or outside the top 25 in rush defense?
Wait. Say that again.
Most teams that are considered like dominant college football teams, they stop the run.
Yes.
Texas A&M
Facts.
has played with a lead a lot of the time, which means there
So people
wouldn't be a
can't
ton
run
of teams
against them
running
as
on.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you think they are in just total rushing yards allowed? Top 25 or outside the top 25?
Outside the top 25.
That is correct. 2 spots behind number 25, Stanford, and number
Ooh,
24,
that's
Clemson.
interesting considering that they've played with so many leads.
Mm-hmm. They actually, the place where they have excelled the most this year is their pass defense, where they are also right next to Temple. They're 0.7 ahead of Temple at the 23rd spot. They're not necessarily elite at anything defensively,
Correct.
which, this is a Mike Elko coach team. It'll get there. I don't think it's there this year. And if Texas's offense is clicking, I don't think a single person is going to be surprised. You're saying don't let Texas into the college football playoff because Texas A&M is currently overrated. And I think that's a great argument. I'm saying you have to consider it based on the body of work.
No.
For Texas.
Hell no. Hell no.
I do think you have to consider it. If they win, they're going to be on the fringe. Right? They'll be there. It'll be a discussion.
That means, yeah, it'll be a discussion, but I need Notre Dame to lose to Stanford. I need Miami to lose. I need about 8 things to happen before I even get to Texas getting in the college football playoff.
But it would be weird to have multiple teams in the college football playoff that Texas beat and not even have it be up for discussion. That's all.
Oklahoma and maybe Vandy?
And possibly Texas A&M. You could have 3 SEC teams that all lost to Texas while Texas is out in the rain looking through the window like they would have if you took what's funny is if you took away the losses only, you took away everybody's losses, Texas would have the best resume in the country.
That's crazy. That's interesting. You have slightly changed my mind. Slightly.
You do have to win your games. We're going to run into the same thing that we yelled at Lane Kiffin last year.
Yeah.
Like then you shouldn't have lost, but
yeah, I'm not getting ready to let common sense get away my argument right now. So who are you taking? Texas is a 2.5 point favorite.
I like Texas in this game.
I like Texas in this game too. I don't trust. Actually, Texas A&M pulls this out, and then they get dog walked in the college football playoff. I'm gonna take Texas A&M.
But that begs the question: if Texas A&M beats Texas, because
Texas A&M is a 2.5 point favorite. Excuse me, I misspoke.
But if they win and they go 12-0, do a lot of people vote on the Heisman before the conference championships?
You can't anymore.
Okay.
So
it makes
we
me
get our
wonder
ballots now, like the day after, Jesus Christ. I have to check the date, but they come soon. Like
But
after.
it's after those games have been played.
Hold on.
Because that's my thing is I think you might have a lot of people make up their mind if you got an undefeated Texas A&M.
Okay, so ballots are distributed to electors on December 4th now.
Okay,
Thursday, December 4th. But
so like
uh,
while the games are going on.
hold on. But online voting, the website doesn't open until 5 p.m. Eastern on December 6th.
Okay, so like the you can vote, you could technically vote while like the ACC championship is being played.
Yeah. 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern.
Interesting. Okay, it could be that could be it. That could be Marcel Reed if they win this game, and that could be wrapped up.
Yep. So next game up, Miami at Pitt. Number 12 at number 22. Now, Patton Narduzzi, I want him to lose this game. He deserves to lose this game. And only because of the way he treated the Notre Dame game, I just don't like it. Like in terms of competition, I hope they lose. I hope with everything in my body. I don't care if Notre Dame beats us by 100 points. We're just worried about the ACC championship. Shut up. Um, Miami's favored by 7 points. I hope they win by 50, but this is Miami. They're playing on the road. This is a game that they're supposed to win. They're absolutely gonna lose this game.
So you're saying you're rooting for Miami, but you think they're going to lose?
Yes.
Okay, and this was one of your I think you you considered it as one of your bold predictions at the beginning of the season. One of your predictions was that Pitt would finish in the top 4 in the ACC. That's looking good. That's
That's
looking good
feeling.
right now.
Yeah.
I think it might be money.
Yes.
But
Oh, yes. We got to make a video going back and revisiting the bold predictions and see what boldness bolded.
yeah, some of them you might not want to revisit for too long.
like I hope Kansas State was not in my bold predictions.
No, that was just in your pick them to go to the college football playoff. Um, but Pitt, if you're a fan of linebacking, this is the game for you. Best linebackers in America are going to be out there, which means I think it's probably going to fall to what the quarterbacks are able to do. And the one thing I know is if that Pitt freshman has a good game against Miami, um, you got to have Miami fans that are that. This is the crappy thing about it. You can't play good against Miami without getting an offer to play for Miami.
Hey, they
This
are
is
the
like,
definition of if you
yeah,
can't beat them, join them.
yep, and they like it's like when you invite IMG at the high school level to come play against you, and then all of a sudden anybody who played good against them is at IMG the next year.
Yes, that's how they do.
So be careful, Pitt. Look good. Don't look too good. I'll pick Pitt just for the sake of chaos. I want Miami to just clear this whole thing up and get a win, get a spot in the ACC championship. Like they are very talented. There's players I love on that team, like Hakeem Messidor. I want to see them do well, but it would go against everything that I've experienced watching Mario Cristobal coach games in November.
That's this is my issue. He has the chance to break the narrative about him. He has every
Yeah,
chance to, but will he do it? Won't he do it?
at noon Eastern.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll
So
see.
who are you taking?
Pitt.
Oh yeah, you said that. All right.
And the Larry Fitzgerald photo behind me. I got a rep
Yeah.
Larry. Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Upset potential, Ralph. Upset potential. LSU at Oklahoma. I don't know how LSU finds enough offense to win, but they might have enough defense to keep it close. And then anything can happen from there because Oklahoma's offense is struggling. Their running game is struggling. They are Oklahoma is Georgia Tech with a defense. It is all quarterback, no running game outside of that. And then the quarterback is iffy throwing sometimes. Haynes King actually might be a better passer than John Mateer. You know I like John Mateer, but he's been awful mechanically wise this year. He
But
missed
we
a
knew
lot
going
of
into this
open
year that
guys.
we knew also though he wasn't going to have like they didn't do the greatest job in the portal.
Yeah,
bringing receivers in. I think they blew the whole bank account on getting Mateer there. Do you trust Michael Van Buren?
No, I don't trust him.
That's
I
where
don't
this.
trust Nussmeier. But it's not even about them. Something is wrong in the water in LSU. How do you get Garrett Nussmeier to go from 4,000 yards to nothing, to getting benched? We're like Brian Thomas and what's the other kid's name? In New York, Neighbors.
Neighbors, yeah.
They were that good. Oh wait, no. Actually, they were already gone last year. Now that I think about it, yeah, they were already gone. So I can't blame it on that.
Yeah, I think that O lineman that went early obviously played a big role in making sure that Nussmeier wasn't always beat up. And then you have all this pressure coming into the season, telling him he needs to run more. The receiver talent isn't what it was, and you don't do a great job in the portal, and your head coach isn't super engaged, and he's just yelling at people. And here we are in mid-November, late November, coming off a 13-10 win over Western Kentucky. They did not finish their coach.
No. Okay, so what do you think the line on this game is?
In my imagination, if I was to set the line for this game, I'd have Oklahoma 8.5.
Oklahoma -10.
Okay, and I think that they
So
cover.
who are you? Oh, you think they cover? You know what?
LSU the last 2 weeks is won by a total of 4 points against Arkansas and Western Kentucky.
Ralph, I 100% agree with you. I think that Oklahoma covers. I wanted this to, but I would not be surprised if chaos broke out there too. And then because dude, imagine a mess of the SEC if Ole Miss loses, Oklahoma loses, Alabama loses, and then Georgia loses. I mean, all of those things can't happen. I'm predicting chaos, but all of those things can't happen in the same week, can I?
I hope so.
And then you have Vanderbilt beat
Tennessee,
and everybody's like, Vanderbilt's the best team in the SEC.
So this is what Vandy's season is built around. This game. This game is what Vandy's whole season. They've been doing a great job week to week game plans. I think they've maximized the potential of this team. I'm still probably 1 year away from giving Diego Pavia grief for being a grandfather in college football.
Well, he's trying to get another year, buddy. He says he's not, but he is.
Yeah, if he does, I'll be critical. But at this point, like we still got, like Jeff Sims at Arizona State is in year 6. We still got guys from the class of 2019. There was a game the other day where Chubba Purdy and Jacob Conover both got in, and I watched them play against each other in the 2018 Arizona High School State Championship. And I'm like, okay, we maybe have gone too far. We got
somebody in their 9th year of college football too, so it gets hectic out here in these streets, man.
But this is what Vandy was built for, was this game. I feel like Tennessee has overachieved. I'm actually super impressed with what Tennessee was able to do this year.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like that's where you're at too.
I would agree. Yeah. I would totally
There's a lot of pressure on Vandy here. Do you think it'll backfire?
Tennessee's a 3-point favorite in this game. Vanderbilt's defense is not very good. Like, they've given up a lot of points this year. They gave up 30 to Bama, 24 to lowly LSU. They gave up 34 to Texas. Ralph, they gave up 38 points to Auburn, 21 to Georgia State, 20 to Virginia Tech in the beginning of the season. But this team's defense, they give up points. So
You're trying to say Vanderbilt is the Ole Miss of Georgia Techs.
there we go. I don't know how I take Vanderbilt to win this football game outside of like just dumb luck. But
yeah,
they may have
113th against the pass. 113th against the pass. Joey Aguilar loves to.
And all Tennessee does is pass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with no chance Vanderbilt wins this game without Aguilar throwing multiple interceptions.
To me, this is what Vandy was built for. And so I'm going to trust the process. Let's go Commodores, whatever those are.
It's a bird. All right. Game you care about. Huh?
Or is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. All right. I'm going to trust you.
Let me Google, but I'm pretty sure. All right. Ralph,
It's
tell us about this
a Motown band from the 70s.
Yeah. Ralph,
The
in the preseason, if I told you that Arizona versus Arizona State for the Territorial Cup would be a ranked game, would you have believed me?
No, I would not.
And not from the Arizona State side.
I would have channeled all of the like nervous energy from hearing that into the biggest I told you so of all time to all of the Arizona fans who wanted to fire Brent Brennan.
Ooh.
Because I actually really, really like that guy, and I thought it was an awesome hire. And you have been speaking like life into like Noah Fafita since he was, I don't know, like a sophomore in high school, as long as I've known you. And so, it'd be one of those things where we could tag team and I told you so, but it still makes me very nervous. This is a big deal. This is a huge deal for University of Arizona. They won 10 games 2 years ago, and then everyone left except for like 5 guys.
Ralph?
And so, yes.
I come with bad news.
You never hit record?
No. That would be tragic news. The Vanderbilt Commodores mascot is named Mr. Commodore. But this doesn't say, because you can have like Auburn be the Tigers, but then their mascot is an eagle. So I'm still not 100% sure. And then Alabama's mascot is it's the Crimson Tide, but their mascot's an elephant. So the SEC does some weird things. So the original mascot is Mr. Commodore. He's a naval officer who represents the university's namesake, Cornelius Vanderbilt, who was nicknamed the Commodore.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was going to say I've been to Nashville and I don't remember seeing the Navy, but I get it. I get it. A rich guy's nickname. It makes more sense than most college mascots.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That'd be like the Oregon swooshes. The Oregon Uncle Phils.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right.
All right. All right. Arizona State, Arizona. This game is in Tempe. After this game, we're going to find out where, if you listen to the national media, where Kenny Dillingham is going to coach next. And it's Arizona State, dummies. Guess what the line on this game is?
If I was setting the line, I would favor Arizona.
Are you
Is
a
it
witch? Arizona's favored by 2.5 points.
okay?
Give me your pick, Ralph. Your unadulterated. First of all, I want to say how proud I am of Noah Fafita for
Yeah.
bouncing back after last year's trash can season and not hopping in the portal, not running from it, and just manned up and figured it out. And he has his team 8-3 right now.
It bothers me so much how likable this University of Arizona team is. Like their leading receiver is Chris Hudson, who like boomers all over America love because he took a tongue lashing from Mario Cristobal that one time and just ate it.
Yep.
And they're like, that I
That's
want to
the
raise a
kind of
son
kid we
like
want
that.
on our team.
Exactly. Someone who can get just shredded on the sideline while the camera's on them and just be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Bro, they
it's
said the
cool to
same
see for
thing
him.
about Malik Benson at Oregon this last week after he got that personal foul and Dan chewed him out. See, that's how you
I
do it. And he just stood there, yes, sir.
Yeah. Again, I hate how likable they are. I've always liked Brent Brennan. We talked a lot about him and his San Jose State and all the rumors to, him getting a Pac-12 job in the early years of our podcast. Um, it, Ismail Mahdi is a great addition from Texas State. Bobby Wade's their receivers coach. Danny Gonzalez, their defensive coordinator, was Arizona State's defensive coordinator. He's fantastic. However, he runs a 3-3-5. We're not going to be able to throw on them anyway. So I think it really comes down to doing the one thing that causes trouble for the 3-3-5, and that's running the ball 47 times. So I'm going to give Arizona State the edge because they're at home and because I think they have no other choice but to run the ball, and they're 2 games removed from a 240-yard rushing performance from Jeff Sims and 1 game removed from a 255-yard rushing performance from Raleek Brown. So that's what they're going to do. Jordan
Yeah.
Tyson's healthy, so maybe you get a big play here and there. But if you're watching this game and you're betting this game, watch out for there's a couple of Arizona players who are on a tear right now. Traden Stukes as a safety and Genesis Smith on the defensive side of the ball as well. And then every once in a while, if you're a baseball fan, Trey Spivey, the son of Junior Spivey, he will make a play early in the game. He'll score a touchdown, and in those games, they tend to be playing pretty well. So I'm going to go with Arizona State. Even outside of the fact that I have to, but I'm nervous.
Why
For
do you
sure.
have to? I could pick against the Ducks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's hope let's hope we never have to find out.
Yeah, I don't
You did before the season. You did make a prediction that there was a game they would lose that you changed your mind on once you saw how that team was playing. So
yes.
that's the one time I've seen you do it, and it was Penn State.
Mm-hmm. See?
Okay. Well, and hey, Arizona, since we're talking about people who haven't beaten anybody, outside of Cincinnati on the road, I don't see
am
it.
taking
So,
Arizona State. Thanks, Jason Shear. Good job. Hey man. Shots must be taken sometimes. All right. Never forget. All right. We got a couple games left. We got I don't foresee this being I put this in the no doubt game. But let's discuss anyway quickly.
okay.
Texas Tech, West Virginia. Texas Tech's favored by 23.5. Cover or no cover?
I'm gonna say cover. I don't want them to. I'd love Rich Rod to be feisty here, but all he does is what, George? Rich Rod loves to what?
Run the football.
Yeah, and Texas Tech is giving up 70 rushing yards per game this year.
Yeah.
There's sack numbers factored in that, obviously, but we're looking at one of the greatest rushing defenses of our lifetime.
Yeah.
So I think this one could get really ugly.
Yeah. This is like hunting in the zoo, buddy. Hunting in the zoo. I'm taking them 23.5. You've never heard that statement?
No,
Oh, well,
I like it though.
okay. Sneaky game, Ralph. Sneaky game.
Okay.
There's no can you look up the line on this game because what I saw shocked
Yeah.
me. It absolutely shocked me. UCF at BYU. There's no way that what I have is correct.
Ooh, 3 scores. 17 and a half. Actually moved down from opening at 18 and a half.
Okay. Okay. They
94% of people are picking BYU to cover.
okay. Okay. This is how I knew something was up because I was looking on my little sheet and there must have been a misprint because it says UCF by 1.5. They must have accidentally put the basketball score on here or something.
Yeah, no. I think this is a since UCF laid the wood on North Carolina at home, they are 2-6, and eked
North
one out
Carolina has
against Oklahoma State.
almost a generationally bad offense right now.
Yeah, and so UCF Oklahoma State last week 17-14. That's probably not a good omen to then have to turn around and go across the country to Provo.
Oh yeah,
in late
I'm
November.
taking, and BYU wants to make a statement too to the College Football Playoff Committee. This is going to get ugly. This is going to be a bloodbath. So, however many
It'd be funny if it wasn't.
To who?
Well, if Arizona State wins, I think it would matter quite a bit if UCF pulled off the impossible.
Very true. All right.
Although you think that I'm weak for saying this, I'm not 100% sure I want to play Texas Tech a second time.
Dude, nobody wants to play. Nobody honestly wants to play Texas Tech right now. If you're being honest, can you see the spread on this game? I don't have this one in front of me, but Virginia Tech, Virginia. I picked Virginia to go to the ACC championship a few weeks ago, and I've been sticking with them. But I am afraid that the glass slipper is going to fall off of this team. So I am confused, and this is the only way it falls off is a game like this.
8.5 for Virginia is favored by 8.5. I wonder. So I'm going to look up the history of this game real quick because I feel like the Hokies have been, for the most part, pretty heavily on the winning side.
Yeah.
Over the years. And okay, so here we go. It's 62-38 Virginia Tech, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, going back to 2004, Virginia has won this game one time in 2019.
Well,
they've won 19 of the last 20, it looks like Virginia Tech has.
And Virginia Tech hasn't even been good.
Not really. Yeah. This game was actually more competitive when you had Beamer at Virginia Tech, which is so counterintuitive, but it's true.
I wouldn't dare bet this game. Would not dare. But with that said, I'm riding with my boys who I don't know anybody from there but Virginia.
I like it. The player that
I am going to take Virginia Tech plus that 8.5
though. I'm rooting for Virginia because the player that my son backs up on his varsity team, which is playing in the quarterfinals on Friday, against Thomas Davis's son. His name's Dallas Brannon, and he is committed to Virginia. So, and one of my all-time favorite quarterbacks, all-time favorite college football players, Bryce Perkins, is Cavalier. So, what do they say? Who's up or who? Whoville?
I have no
Whatever.
idea.
Go
I don't even
Virginia.
know what they say. All right, next game up. This is I don't even think this is worth talking about outside of them being ranked, but Indiana's a 28.5 point favorite against Purdue. Indiana, I actually think Purdue will cover. Will beat the spread here. Purdue plus 28.5, but barely. I think that half point's going to come into play.
Man, we see what Indiana does to teams that they're supposed to beat.
Yes.
But this is why you hire Barry Odom. Give me Purdue to cover.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
what is there to lose? It could be a really, really bad game, though.
Yep. Oh my gosh, Ralph. We almost left out this game here, buddy. Maybe it's because both of these teams are so far in my rearview mirror that it didn't even matter. Shots. UCLA at USC. USC's favored by what's this? Is this right? 21 and a half? I believe that UCLA quit last week versus Washington. I don't know if they can re-get it because their end of the season stretch after they got hot was so tough, and now they know that they're not going to get the job. Yeah,
So USC, what's the highest they can finish? Because they don't have the tiebreaker with Oregon, but they do have the tiebreaker with Michigan, right?
yes,
So the highest USC can finish is fourth in the Big Ten.
correct.
Um, I don't know what that's worth, like maybe like the ReliaQuest Bowl or something like that. That was a pretty good one. Was in Michigan last year.
Yeah.
I think
You'll
we're
get
gonna
an SEC
learn.
team.
Yeah,
No,
it'll
no,
be a
no.
good bowl. I
Michigan
don't.
finished fifth last year because the SEC got the Big Ten got 4 teams in a playoff.
Oh, okay. This will be interesting. So I think, So maybe they'll be one spot behind the ReliaQuest Bowl, but I don't sneeze at that. I actually think this is a pretty decent year for USC. Um, but here's what I think. You beat UCLA, cool. We'll come back to them in a second. But you beat UCLA, cool. I think we're going to see what this team is truly about when we see who decides to play in that bowl game.
Ralph, I was wrong. Michigan finished seventh last year. Oregon, Indiana, Penn State, Ohio State, Illinois, because they all finished in the top 16.
Mm.
Iowa, Michigan, and then Michigan was 5-4 as well. Wait, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, seventh. And then Minnesota, then USC.
So this is a pretty decent performance for USC in what I feel like has kind of been a down year for the Big Ten overall.
I can give you that. I can give you that. USC right now is currently fifth. If they lose this game, they would stay in fifth, depending on what happens. Yeah. They would stay at fifth because if Oregon beats Washington, Washington goes to 5-4. Iowa
They have the
can't
tiebreaker
move.
over Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah. So the lowest that they can finish is fifth.
And they
But
will
they
have
could
defended
finish
home
as high
field.
as fourth. Huh?
They will have defended home field, right? Pretty much undefeated at home.
Yep.
It's not I know it doesn't meet their expectations, but it's not a bad year. But I think we'll learn a lot about this team and who decides to actually play in the
Yeah.
bowl game.
Yes.
If everybody bails, then you know that like this is like ice skating uphill
Yes. Yeah.
for
Because
Lincoln
then the
Riley.
next year is going to be light. um. All right. So who are you taking? I'm taking UCLA plus 21.5. I think that they will have some level of fight. But if they get down early, they're going to quit and lose by 40.
I have two questions for you. Is Nico playing?
Yes.
Okay. And question
From
two,
my understanding,
where do
yes.
you where would you expect Nico to be a quarterback next year? Do you think
Arizona
he'll
State.
wait
If
to
you
see what
had
the
to,
hire is?
if I had to guess first, Arizona State.
There you go.
He was like, "Damn, that was a quick answer. You didn't spend no time thinking about it because I had already thought about it." So who are you
I would
taking in the
love to
game?
know. I would love to know how Arizona State fans would feel about that possibility.
All right, and then there are two more games. I'm not even going to put them up on the screen because I don't think that they. The first one, there's no chance that this happens. Notre Dame at Stanford.
It'd be pretty funny if it did, though.
After not even
Stanford's been
giving it
past.
any energy, yes, Notre Dame is a 32.5 point favorite. This would be worse than this would be honestly to me worse than the NIU loss from last year. Not because Stanford's worse than NIU, but because you had everything on the table and then you laid a gigantic freaking egg.
In an ideal world, all of the people that have been putting me through hell arguing about Notre Dame and Miami all are forced to argue over them both being 9-3 next week who should be the number 18 versus number 19 team.
Oh,
That would be ideal for me, to have everyone who wasted their breath have to continue fighting about it when it spills over into, and then they meet in a bowl and have to play it out again, and it just
yeah,
never ends.
yep. Uh, you know what team I'm counting out, but Utah at Kansas. Kansas State rushed for damn near 500 yards on Utah last week and lost 51-47. I don't trust this Utah program. They get into the college football playoff. It's going to be an easy loss behind anybody. Um,
Can I tell you what I did not post when Joe Jackson was in the process of getting 300 yards against Utah?
what?
This is go to show you how far my impulse control has come. Uh, I almost posted, "Damn, Joe Jackson treating Utah's defense like Little Michael," but I didn't hit send
All right, with
because
that, with that, we have to end the show before Ralph gets the show canceled on YouTube. Like you can't even get things canceled on YouTube, really. But he's trying. So, you guys enjoy the games this weekend. We will catch you guys later. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Peace out.